Joined now by Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger. He is a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and a veteran as well. Good to see you tonight, Congressman.
You too.
Your thoughts on what we saw today in New York City?
Well, it's tragic. It was interesting because about 2 hours prior, I was having lunch with President Trump, and we were talking about his Asia summit coming up, but we discussed terrorism, and he said, look, as we've defeated ISIS, we expect that they're going to spread out and try to do spectacular attacks, and we had no idea this was coming. He's right, and I think one of the important things to keep in mind here is as you hear people on the right and left complain about having troops in other countries around the world, you heard it after the Niger attack, as tragic as that was, this is why we have troops around the world, is to be a bulwark against the recruiting of terrorism in other parts of the world. And so, look, as bad as this is kind of the new reality. I tell people don't live in fear, though, because they'll win. But also understand that when President Trump makes a decision to say we're going to send Green Berets or we're going to engage in other countries in the world to defeat terrorism, that's what this fight is. Yeah. It's to be a bulwark and to stop it from coming here.
Yeah, I mean, that is a great point. I mean, you think about sort of the backlash, even from members of Congress who really, as I understand it, they had no reason to not know that we had troops in Niger. Obviously, al-Qaeda and ISIS have expanded in Africa, and that is where the fight has gone. As was said earlier on this show, Congressman, and I'm sure you agree, we need to wake up about this threat and about how immediate it is and as close to home as we saw today in the worst possible way.
So Karl Rove said it, this is a generational fight. Probably the rest of my life will be involved in this to some level. I consider this basically a low-grade version of World War III. We're fighting all over. The president is doing the best he can to say areas where we see this cancer is going to go next. Niger, for instance, we're going to send some American men and women to build a bulwark so that the Nigerian forces can prevent this from happening. This is going to happen all over the world. So, again, to my colleagues, some on the right and a lot on the left that come in and say, oh, my goodness, we have troops everywhere. We have troops places not to be an imperial power, but to protect against attacks like this in New York City. And you're never going to stop them in entirety, but I'd much rather fight these SOBs over there than here at home.
Understood. Congressman, thank you very much. Good to have you with us tonight.